Hello, my name is Marion. I'm a blogger at Miss Mustard Seed.
And I'm Christy. I'm a blogger at Rosemary and Thyme.
And this is Design Ramblings, where we talk about anything and all things design related. So today we've talked about trends, we've talked about just some different design choices in your home, and we thought today we'd talk about contentment in your home, because I think that's I think it's something a lot of people struggle with.
Right, and I think it's really difficult for people like us who like to constantly kind of, one-up ourselves in our homes, and it seems to be like this constant cycle that we go through trying to reach this perfection mark that never will really happen. So we've talked before about just like, how do you find that peace with kind of what you have, and just like being okay with maybe not necessarily changing things constantly all the time.
I think especially with like that being a part of my job,
Right.
like that's a part of my profession as a blogger, is that my home is sort of my studio and where I show, my new pieces of furniture, and here, and so there's sort of this drive to always have something new and do something new. And now that I have always been that way. I've always been rearranging my furniture and buying new things and selling old things. So I've always been doing that, like since I've had my own home. But it's definitely, I think having a blog sort of feeds that.
Definitely, yeah.
And I think when I first started my blog, blogs were much more of sort of the escape from magazines. So you'd look at magazines and you'd feel like, oh my gosh, those homes are done on these really high-end budgets.
And there's no way I'll ever get anywhere close to that.
Yeah, they're professionally styled. They're photoshopped, so they all look bright and beautiful. And even those homes don't look as beautiful as they do in person as they do in the pictures.
Absolutely.
So I think the blogs were sort of an escape from that. You saw really real homes on real budgets, and I think as bloggers have become more professional, there's maybe been a shift that blogs are becoming a bit more like a magazine.
Yeah.
Do you think so? Where they look, the homes are looking more like
I would
magazine
agree with that.
homes.
And I mean, bloggers themselves have become so professional that like all of their pictures and everything can be professionally edited and all of that. So you have that kind of aesthetic of, a magazine spread or something, and it is like your own home. So I could see how it's made like kind of a shift. And I've seen even, bloggers that I've read over the years kind of make that shift from like, it being something very like kind of reasonable, and you can see it's very lived into like being like really perfectly styled and all of that.
And I think a part of that, like for me, because I know when I look at early pictures that I've done, I know that I've grown a lot, and I think a part of it is it's just really fun for me. I enjoy it, like having my own little photo shoot, but I never want someone to feel, well, first of all, my home is a real home, and I know like the bloggers who are my friends that I know, like their homes are real homes. Like a lot of them, I've been to their house, and they have their messy moments and stuff. But when we're sharing our pictures, like you don't want to see like when a laundry day is there and I have like all my baskets lined up. I don't know. Maybe you want to see that, but I want to share my room when it's like having guests over.
Right, it's putting your best foot forward.
Exactly. So it's my house. That's how we live. We live in that house. But it's nice, but it's cleaned up. But I think the danger with blogs and magazines and decorating books and HGTV and Pinterest and all of this is to then feel like, well, my home is just junk then, because it doesn't look like that. And so I think you have to look at those images and recognize that you're seeing the best of that home. Right. You're seeing like the home dressed up for prom.
Right. And you're seeing it as like that's their profession, that's what they do.
Yeah.
So, you may not have 20 hours a week to work on your house, but some people do, and that's what they're doing, and the point of them doing it is to inspire you in doing it as well, so it's not something that, is necessarily attainable like all the time. I mean, my favorite moments at Marion's house are when I see like her little boys like take her twine and and stick all their Lego guys on it. That's what, like, I love that.
Yeah.
And that's actual, real life.
Yes, it is. We do forts. We have like cushion forts. We do, you'll see hairballs and goldfish crumbs in my house and junk on the counter, just like everybody else. So I think when you start to feel like I'm less than because of what I'm seeing, or my house is less than, that sometimes I would say just take a break from it.
Yeah.
Get off Pinterest, close down. That you can still get my blog and her blog.
Always.
No. But just like close down the computer and kind of walk away for a little while. Like give yourself that space. And I think a real key to contentment is to being thankful, to looking at like your home in perspective to what others have who have a lot less than you do. Like we're in the West, we're just tremendously blessed with just a real overabundance of stuff. And so I think contentment, just finding that place to be thankful is really important. And and I struggle with that too. Like I remember I was telling Jeff that I was looking at our bedroom, and I've been working on it for like a year, and there were some things like I've really wanted to replace his dresser and everything, and I had said, okay, our room is almost there, and he kind of gave me this look like what else is there to do? Yeah. Like, what, are you crazy? And I sort of thought about that in perspective. I was like, I kind of am crazy because this room
just a little bit.
It's done. Like maybe I could hang a couple more pictures or something, but it's done. I don't need to be out shopping for new furniture for it. It needs to stop at some point.
Right.
And so I was like, it's done. And
And I think there's something to say about looking at kind of what it is you want your home to be. So defining that for yourself. For me, I love my home to be really comforting and just very like homey, and I just I want to feel like warm and fuzzy when I'm at my home. So if that means that like
it's like a big blanket.
Yes, it's like,
and a little
big
nest.
Yes. Yes, that would be like the dream.
The nest couch.
Yes. Yeah. But I mean, you kind of have to figure out what it is that you want your home to be, because if you don't know, then you're going to constantly be looking at other people, and instead of taking, little tidbits of inspiration from them, you're going to always want to, redo in a whole entire room so it looks like this, because you don't know what it is that you're trying to, reach. And, sometimes that means like having mismatched furniture or, breaking some design rules as long as it's fitting in.
See, we had 3 because this is a design rule to have 3. So look, we're going to break the design rule.
Bam.
There's 2.
Yes. It's okay. But yeah, you really kind of have to, have some idea of what it is you're working towards, or else you're just going to be in this constant, state of needing to, redo things and, because you don't know what your direction actually is.
Right. But I don't think, I know this is not what you're saying, I don't think redoing things shows a lack of contentment necessarily.
No. Right.
I think that can come out of it. Mm-hmm. I know for me, it's my hobby. Yeah. I just love doing it. I could rearrange furniture like all day long. And I've done that before. Like I'll rearrange the furniture and then I'll decide, I liked it better before, and then I'll rearrange it all back, and Jeff's like, what have you been doing all day? I'm like, you have no idea. Like this house looked totally different at 2:00 and now it looks the same again at 5:00.
Yeah, and there's nothing, and I think kind of working with what you have is a really good way to kind of enforce contentment in your home. So like moving around furniture, I mean, I remember once my husband was on a business trip and he came home and I had redone the living room, and he just like stopped in his tracks and looked at me, and I was like, that's why you don't leave me home alone for a week.
Don't do that.
Don't do it.
Yeah. So I think, what would be, for someone who's struggling with this right now, like they're just like, I've been looking at all these pictures and I feel like I just hate my house. Mm-hmm. I really do. Even though I've just put all this money into it, I've spent a lot of time on it, I hate it. Yeah. Like what would you say to them? Like as a friend, like what would you say to them?
I would just say that everyone has to start somewhere. So, for me, like we rent our home right now, and I've had a lot of pity parties about that before because I just want to paint my walls, I want to do what I want to put new light fixtures in and all of that. But everyone starts somewhere. So like me as a newlywed, like I have to rent right now, and that's what we're doing. And, hopefully in the next couple of years we'll have our own home where I can do more. But for now, I'm really finding comfort in knowing, like, I'm going to work with what I have and be really grateful for we have a beautiful home that has so much potential, and, I can do so many things with it the way it is now. So just remembering that everyone starts somewhere, and I love looking at Marion's like before pictures of when they just moved into their house, and it's just like so eye-opening to see, like you can do anything with any space, and all you really have to do is just have commitment to it and remember that everything takes time.
Yeah, I would say if you're really struggling with contentment right now, I think that's a heart issue. It's not a stuff issue, and to get back to a place where you can find things to be thankful for, and you can sort of see those bright spots in your home. I remember there was a time like when the kids were little, and I was very frustrated by all of the jumperoos and all of the accessories that kids come with, and I just hated having them in my house, and it just felt tough.
Yeah.
And first of all, having a baby in the home is such a joy, and what a shame to miss that because you're just bummed about
worried about the plastic.
Right. So, I had to really bring myself back to a place of being thankful, and also to remind myself, this is just a season. It's just a season where I'm going to have all the jumperoos and stuff like that. Soon enough, they're going to be off at college before I know it, and then I'll have the whole house.
I miss the jumperoos.
I know, exactly clean as I want it. Only Jeff and I to clean up after, and I think I will have really regretted the time that I spent just being bummed because people aren't living in my magazine house the way I want them to. Right. So I think, to look at your heart and really examine that, and I think you'll find that your home is probably a lot more of a blessing than you realized.
Absolutely.